In downtown San Francisco, construction has already begun on the $4 billion TRANSBAY Transit Center. The vision is for a Grand Central Station of the West. And as these schematics in the construction office show, high-speed rail is literally the foundation of that vision. Scott Boule does community outreach for TRANSBAY.
California is going to grow by millions and millions of people over the next few decades, and we need to be thinking of ways to be able to accommodate the transportation needs of all those additional people. High-speed rail is a solution to that pressing question.
Bullet trains would arrive at TRANSBAY every few minutes from Los Angeles, San Jose, Sacramento, Fresno, San Diego, even Las Vegas. But the prospects for high-speed rail have dimmed in recent months. Last week's announcement that CEO Roelof Van Ark will resign was the most recent blow. Tom Umberg also announced that he was stepping down as chairman, though he will remain on the board.
This project is bigger than any one person. It's going to be a project that's going to require courage, vision, and leadership over the course of at least the next 2 decades. So there's going to be a number of different chairs. There's going to be a number of different CEOs.
Governor Jerry Brown and President Obama have expended much political capital on high-speed rail in California.
It's now your decision to evaluate the plan and decide what action to take. Without hesitation, I urge your approval.
The train's price tag is now around $100 billion, more than double what voters approved in 2008. Opponents in the legislature are proposing to halt the sale of $9 billion in voter-approved bonds. But the final nudge that could spell its cancellation may come from an unlikely spot. The Central Valley farming community of Hanford, population 53,000, is halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
This is dead zero on the train. We're standing where the train tracks are going to be right now, or I have been told more or less that that's the angle it's taking out across my property.
Geography, engineering, and politics have made this ground zero in the fight over high-speed rail. The Central Valley segment is the only part that can start construction in time to make deadline for federal matching funds. Project engineers push to begin here, as Van Ark himself explained in an earlier interview.
You've got to build that backbone system where you can operate at high speed to connect people over long distances. And that means you do not start in the city centers. You do not start at the ends. You basically start building that section where you're going to be operating at high speed. By the way, this is exactly how they do it in the rest of the world as well. Building in the cities is generally the last part that you build. Once you connect the metropolitan areas, you aim to get trains into the end stations. You normally do that through some form of phased implementation.
In this so-called blended approach, high-speed trains complete their journey by slowing down and sharing tracks with Caltrain and Amtrak.
My family has farmed in the lakeside area of Kings County since the 1800s. My family will have to move.
But the decision to start in the Central Valley fueled a backlash, evident at meetings such as this one in Bakersfield.
I'm Ross, and this is my wife Phyllis Browning, and we've lived here since 2005, but the property has been in her family since 1942. Her dad bought it, and he farmed 10 acres here.
The Brownies' house outside Hanford may be demolished.
We bought this place with the idea that we were going to retire, spend the rest of our lives here. It's nice and quiet and serene. The grandkids love it when they come down here. And I see that all going up in smoke. I don't see that happening now.
And I'm not against the fast rail. I mean, I'm sure in time that they're going to need the fast rail. But, you know, they don't have to take and just because they can, well, we're going to just take all this property away from people. To me, it's wrong. It's not right.
Because 7.5 is so small. It's just from Grangeville here, and it dead ends on our property. So it would be.
Steve Gaspar and his wife Elizabeth own this Hanford dairy. The tracks will split off a corner of the ranch.
This is not what I voted for, because I was one of those people that said, yeah, probably sounds like a good idea. You know, getting to LA fast, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. We never thought that that proposition would lead to what we're going through right now.
The Gaspars are convinced the roar of 200-mile-per-hour trains will terrorize their cows, and they won't produce milk.
As you can tell, the cows are calm creatures. They don't like to be bothered. It's very peaceful and quiet out here.
But advocates say the cows will adapt, just as they have in France, where the TGV zooms past ranches regularly. That's a view shared by Brad Johns, the tomato farmer.
You can demolish the house, and they will pay you for the house. Or, in my case, I am going to have them pick up the house and relocate it to another location on the ranch, set it back down, drill the well, put in the septic, hook up the power. They were willing to pay for all that. And I'm out of pocket nothing.
Johns even hopes to put up solar panels and sell power for the trains.
I envision when this train is finally built that most of the folks here in town will get up on a Friday, decide that I would really like to go to San Francisco for a bowl of clam chowder, and then they will decide, you know what, there's a really nice show playing in Las Vegas, and they will get back on that same train and be in Las Vegas for dinner, get back on the train and be home by midnight to sleep in their own bed.
Such visions can still become reality, says Dan Richard, the incoming chair of the High-Speed Rail Authority.
This is a difficult and complex state, but underneath all that, it's also a state where people believe that great things are possible. And I think that was what the governor was tapping into when he said that he supported high-speed rail, because he still felt California was a place where we do big things. But it doesn't mean that it's not hard.
If supporters of high-speed rail prevail, San Francisco's TRANSBAY may eventually get its bullet trains, or this vision for the Grand Central Station of the West may end up, as the critics call it, a very expensive bus stop.